what's up? Today's video is all about my star ratings and how I'm going to change them. But first, I wanted to show you my new mug. It's very bright. You maybe can't see it, but it says Club 33 on it because I went to Club 33 and I also stole this little piece of plastic that was inside of my drink. If you don't know what Club 33 is, it's the like super exclusive fancy restaurant in Disneyland. It's the only place where you can buy alcohol and you have to know somebody who has a membership in order to get in. Memberships are very extremely expensive and my stepmom won a reservation and 4 meals at Club 33 from her boss that she works for as a Christmas gift. So we got to go with them and then she had to pay for 2 of the meals, but it was amazing. The food was great and I had to bring back a gift and Matt hates me for picking a mug. But that's okay and it's going to sit right there for now. Just very excited about it. Today is all about star ratings and let's just get right into this video so I can kind of explain what's going on. I have always been the type of person who doesn't like receiving low grades, and so if you put these 5 stars into a grading system and you made it an A, B, C, D, F instead of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then you can kind of grasp that I never liked getting C's and certainly never D's or F's. I was always an A-B student and even B's were kind of annoying, and so because of that mindset, in the past, I have always judged it similar to how, like, I would want, like, how I feel about grades. And so to me, a C is bad. So, like, a 3-star is bad. But I've started realizing that only having 2 stars worth the 4 and 5-star range for a good book, it's not enough to be able to show the spectrum of what a good book is. For example, I just read a book called Brujaborn, and it's the sequel to Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova, and it was a good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the magic system was fascinating. However, I had some issues with the writing. In this book, there's a different POV than what we got in the first book. They're sisters, and so we get the second sister in the second one. And I found that I couldn't differentiate between their voices, which made it less enjoyable than it could have been. And so this was when this book was really where I realized, like, the way that I rate books doesn't really work for having a understanding of what these different stars mean. That was how I rated in the past, and how I'm gonna start rating now is 3 is generally a good book. It was good, didn't blow me away. Maybe it had some writing issues and the plot was great, or maybe the writing was great but the plot was kind of boring, or, you know, it was just, there was either just generally good all around and nothing fantastic, or it was like one thing was fantastic but one thing wasn't so great and maybe it averages out to be a 3-star. A 4-star is like really good and it like surprised me and all this stuff, and then the 5-star is the kind of book where you can't shut the fuck up about it, like me and Evelyn Hugo. Forever the love of my life. And then a 2-star is like, I had some really issues with this, but like maybe it had one really good plot point that redeemed it, or, you know, maybe the writing was great but the plot was really bad, or whatever. And then 1-star is like, you know, that everyone knows what a 1-star is. It's not a good book. And the thing about me is that if it's a 1-star book, I probably am not going to be willing to read it. There's been a few books that are probably on the 1-star, but if I had finished it, but I don't feel comfortable rating something that I don't finish. And so I think that's a 1-star. A 2-star is like, I don't know, somewhere really bad over there too, but I at least finished it. And then a 3-star is a good book. A 4-star is a really good book, and then a 5-star is like, reviewing books can be really subjective because obviously everyone rates books differently, and so part of the reason that I decided to talk about it was because I was watching a lot of people give 3-star ratings to books while they said, oh yeah, I liked this book, I gave it a 3-star. And so for a while that was really like weird to watch people do, because that's not how I rate books. And then the more I started actively thinking about this, the more I realized like that makes sense. So I'm going to change how I rate books, it makes more sense to have this spectrum when there is a spectrum that exists. Like, I don't need to put all my eggs in a 4 and 5-star basket when I have this whole spectrum that I could be using, but I'm choosing not to. And then also so that for you guys who I assume maybe watch these videos for, do I want to read this or do I not want to read this? I feel like me using the star rating similarly to how I see other people that I watch using it, maybe that will help you guys as viewers more similar, like what a star rating means to everyone versus what it means to me versus someone else. So I'm trying to make it more of an objective rating versus what I was doing, which I've realized kind of didn't really work. So yeah, I don't know if anyone cares about how I rate books, but that's how I'm going to start rating books. One of the most important things for me when I rate a book is if I enjoyed it, if I liked the characters, if I liked the plot. It doesn't matter to me necessarily if the magic system is perfect, for example. What matters to me is if I enjoyed reading it. So in that sense, it's not as objective because it's a lot on just like, how did I like reading this? But then of course I also do like to take a look at the way it's written, which would include stuff like the magic system and would include things like a political system, but also the actual way that the sentences are formed. Do they repeat a lot of words and stuff like that? Usually that stuff is all secondary though, and unless it stands out as something that's obnoxious to me, then I don't usually take note of it. So that's something like that book that I was just mentioning, Brujaborn. Immediately from the very beginning to the very end, I struggled with remembering whose point of view I was in. It doesn't switch points of view, but book 1 was in the other sister's point of view and this book was in this sister's point of view, and I found myself all the time forgetting whose point of view it was because I was used to reading the original sister and I didn't hear any difference in the way that they spoke. So something like that where it's very regularly in my face that I'm not receiving something from the way it's written is going to be a part of it too. But unless it's out there like that, or unless it's like amazing and there's something about the writing too, then that can do something too. That's how I'm going to be rating books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below how you rate books. How do you do it? It's so subjective, like so potentially subjective. So I'd love to hear how you guys choose your star ratings. Do you use a different rating system than the 5-star ways that like Goodreads and Amazon and stuff has you do it, or do you have something completely different altogether? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I make videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so you can always hit that little bell if you want to be notified every time I make a video, and I will see you guys very soon with another one. Bye! I wish I could take all the